So, welcome to the end of Music Week 1.0. I'm obviously going to do this because there's no way in a week I can cover every single music-based app or talk about every music-based thing that goes into my everyday life because I just really like music and video games a lot. So to close this out, I'm going to give you guys my top 10 of video game music. And surprise, this is something totally different for the channel because I've never covered console stuff before, so this will be interesting, so yay. But before we start, a couple rules. I gave myself a couple parameters before I started writing the script for this top 10 list. I don't even know what to call it. It's a top 10 list. First thing I want to remind you guys that this is my top 10 list. It's not top 10 of all time, it's not top 10 Nintendo, it's not top 10 anything specific except for my personal list of video game music that either has had the most impact on me or I love the most. Another parameter that I set for myself is I can't pick more than one thing from the same series. But once again, reminder, this is my. The word my should be bolded in your brain because this is my personal list, so if you want to make your own list, awesome, go do that. That's why YouTube is wonderful. You can make your own. We shall get started with my top 10 list. So coming in at the number 10 spot is the game Transistor and the track Coasting. So the first song is from a game that I've never really seen a lot of YouTubers talk about, aside from just playing it in bits and pieces here and there. But it may just be because of the other YouTubers that I follow. Coasting from Transistor takes the number 10 spot on my list because of the combination of its industrial sounds mixed with its regular relaxing acoustic guitar. The quiet, happy guitar gives the feeling of almost sitting in a coffee shop where you're really relaxed and calm, but other sounds within the song give the feeling of something more sinister and technological about everything going on around you. The two combined together, and also listening to Red sing it, is really one of my favorite things about this game. Overall, this game is just really beautiful, and I want to see it get more love. And picking a song from this game was really hard for me just because this entire game is an absolute masterpiece. If I were ever to go and review console games, I would definitely give Transistor a 10 out of 10. Just because everything's so polished, it's beautiful, and just the soundtrack makes everything feel alive. Like, I need to stop gushing about it. Here's a clip of Coasting. So honestly, this next one is probably the first time some of you have even heard of this song or this game in general. But the second Pajama Sam game has a special place in my heart because it was one of my very first video games that I'd ever played and completed multiple times. I've never been able to find out if it has any official title, but one of the Weather Factory themes is one of my favorites. I spent about a good 10 years not playing this game and then picking it up again when I found out it was on Steam. And just hearing all of it again was so amazing. It might have just been the kick of adrenaline to my nostalgia meter that makes me love this song so much. But everything that Humongous Games does has a really fun and jazzy theme to it, and it's just really fun to listen to. And also picture tiny 3-year-old Allie booting up her super old, well, not mine, it was my parent, booting up her parents' super old computer and popping in Pajama Sam and being able to go on this adventure with a kid that looked and sounded like me at the time. I mean, not that I had blue skin, but I could relate to Sam. But I just need you guys to hear the amazingness that is Humongous Games music in general. So following up right after that, number 8 is Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door, and it is my absolute favorite game of all time. So honestly, why wouldn't I include it somewhere on this list? The song Learning a New Skill plays anytime that Toadette shows up in the game. She's also my favorite character in the Mario series, of all time, so I may be a little biased, but that's beside the point. There's really not much to say beyond this. It's just a really fun song, fun game, fun character. And combining all of those things make it one of my favorite tracks from this game. So the next one on this list is not a console game. It's a game that I got in early alpha. And yeah, it wasn't a zombie survival game. Who freaking knew those existed in early alpha? Holy shit. But let's be real, Slime Rancher has always been an amazing game even while it was in development. The creative areas and fun designs and super creative gameplay makes this game stupidly fun. As well as the soundtrack, like my god, the soundtrack for this game is just wonderful to listen to. It's full-bodied and you learn the melodies and sing along with them whether you realize it or not. It's just a soundtrack that gets into your soul, and the core theme is no different. It's cute and quiet, but it still has that other underlying feeling of hell yes, let's go adventure. Like, there's energy there, but it's held back and calm, so it's relaxing but energizing at the same time. It's like a Zen version of getting a niner at Dutch. That probably makes no sense unless you have a Dutch Bros near you. So, real quick, Dutch Bros, coffee shop, niner, 9 shots of espresso, get you real jazzed. Yeah. Next game on this list is a game that I have to really sadly admit that I've never actually played myself. Like, since I was a kid, I was strictly Nintendo. But Katamari Damacy is a game I was finally introduced to by several Let's Plays that I've watched of it. And one song in the game is just too happy and fun for words, Lonely Rolling Star. It's a super adorable J-pop song about lovers finding their way back to each other that plays while you roll your little Katamari around and roll up the most weird things. It's the weirdest concept for a game, and I said that in my other review, but I just love it. For never playing this game myself, I know like all of the lyrics and listen to this song super often. Number 5 on the list. Now, I know these days Sonic does kind of have a bad rep, but growing up I had Sonic 3 to play. And the music that would play during the competition selection and the continue screen is such a jamming track, and I've heard it all over like YouTube and other places that I just kind of want to include it just because it's so much fun. It's short, fun, good time, and that's really all I have to say about it. Now here, this game, I love this game. I've literally dumped so much money into this game. You guys don't even know. It's so much fun. So Shovel Knight sure knows how to introduce a game with amazing music. And I mean, my word, everyone knows about Shovel Knight at this point. It's pretty much the most successful indie game of all time, and for good reason. Shovel Knight is just one of the most amazing games. It calls back so much nostalgia to like NES and SNES games. It plays beautifully, the controls are amazing, it has secrets, it has wonderful characters, like wonderful bosses, it's creative, the music is just beautiful. Like, I can legitimately gush about Shovel Knight all freaking day because it's just so much fun and I love it to death. It's honestly all for good reason. Plains of Passage is probably the best first level music and most memorable for me, right next to the original Mario Brothers thing. Just because of how impactful it is, and just like from right to the get-go, it's quick tempo, it's quick pace, like everything's really fun and exciting and just alive as you're playing this game. Now, the number 3 spot comes actually pretty timely since the day I'm recording this, it's Undertale's first anniversary. And honestly, Undertale became one of my favorite games of all time within the first hour of playing it. People all over the internet have talked about how amazing the game is, the impact it is, the wonderful gameplay, the wonderful game design in general, and honestly, it's been the same for me. It was an incredible game unlike anything I've ever played before, and choosing any one song from this game was hard as hell because this game has my favorite video game soundtrack of all time. Like, hands down, the Undertale soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack as a whole. The little bits and pieces that go into all the different places and tracks that work together in different ways is wonderful. Does it take the #1 spot though? Nah. But the track Home was the most impactful tracks in the game for me. And yeah, woo, big surprise, it's not Megalovania. I love that track on its own, but I looked at this through the gameplay aspect as well, and the way you get to it is just never a way that ever sat well with me. Still, even a year after this game came out, I have never played the genocide route of Undertale, and I never plan to. But I love Home just because the feeling of safety that it gives you. Like, this game gives you a weird feeling. Like, the whole game, I just wanted to go back to the ruins and hang out with Toriel again. So in my brain, I just kind of latched onto the melody that you hear that first time. You hear it later in the game, and it just has a feeling of safety and warmth, and then you kind of get ripped away from that and get thrown like out into your adventure. Now, the second to last one, Super Bomberman 4 World 1 theme. This is gonna sound weird, but this is the second one on my list, and I've never owned this game. I've only ever played this game on an emulator that I found online, but the first song in this game is absolutely wonderful to the point where I rip the song from YouTube and play it constantly in the car just because it's so jamming. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have admitted to using an emulator, which is slightly illegal, and ripping a song from YouTube, also slightly illegal. I'm always curious about this, so if you're watching this right now and can easily comment, I want you, based on the previous 9 songs, to guess what my #1 song is. So I'll give you a couple seconds. Okay, done? You ready? I bet you didn't guess it. Like, honestly, I don't think you would. And if you did, I'm probably gonna think you're a cheater. So yeah, this game. This freaking game. This was the first type of console game or handheld game that I ever owned and completed. Like, little 5-year-old Allie played this game to death with my cousins, as well as because it was the only game I had for a really long time. I had to get another cartridge of it just because I played it so much that the original cartridge just doesn't save anymore. And since it was on the Game Boy Advance, it was back in the day where the screens weren't lit and you couldn't play at night. So yeah, back in my day, let's make me sound really old. So when I couldn't play it, I would just turn on the game with a pair of headphones and put them in so I could listen to the choose a player screen, just because I loved it so much. It's literally a song that was just so much of my childhood, and it's a song that I heard the most while playing the game, because I was a small child and died a lot and got taken back to the choose a player screen a lot. But honestly, like, listen to this and tell me you don't get slightly hyped up for it. But yeah, there you have it. These are some of my favorite songs. Like, I don't think I've ever seen these types of songs or these specific songs in anybody else's list before, so maybe this would be fun and interesting for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. This concludes Music Week 1.0. I know I'm totally gonna do more of these just because there's so much like music related apps and just games in general out there that I haven't touched or even talked about. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will leave a link to the playlist for the other apps that I reviewed this week for Music Week. Make sure to like and comment down below, hit subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!